So now we're in Chapter 11 and we get to issue some stock. And I'm going to break this up into a few podcasts. This will be issuing stock for cash. And the first situation is we're going to issue 25,000 shares of stock. And this is common stock. And it's going to be for cash. And this is when the market value per share of stock on the open market is $5 a share. The first instance is the stock has no par value and no stated value. So in that case, we would simply say, okay, well, how much cash did we get? We would make our journal entry. Let's just say it's the 20th of October. And how much cash did we get? Well, we got 25,000 shares times $5, okay? Because we issued 25,000 shares of stock and got $5 for each one. So our debit is to cash for 125,000. And we know we also have a credit, and that will be simply to common stock because there's no par or stated value. Okay. Now, what if the stock had a $2 par value? In that case, we would receive the same amount of cash. In other words, we would go cash, and it would be the 25,000 shares times $5 a share. But the amount we attribute to common stock, to the account common stock, is only going to be the par value of the stock, which is $2 a share. So in that case, we would go common stock, and that would be the $2 a share times the 25,000 shares we issued. So we would be doing a credit to our common stock for $50,000. Okay, so it's got a par value of $2 times the number of shares issued, gives us the amount that we attribute to our common stock. Okay, the rest we need another account for, and we're going to call that paid in capital. This is kind of a long account, and I don't think I've left enough room, but we'll see. Paid in capital, no I haven't, in excess, well, of par value. That's going over way too far, sorry. And that would be for the difference, which would in this case be $75,000. So this is the amount attributed to common stock, and then this is the amount over and above that. Okay, and I usually denote that it is common stock rather than preferred. Okay, we know the difference between par value and stated value. So if we were doing the same transaction except the stock had no par value, but it had a stated value of $2, we would do the same journal entry where we would note that we got cash of $125,000, and we would attribute to common stock only the stated value of the stock. So that would be the 25,000 shares that we issued times the $2 stated value, and that would give us the 50,000 that we would attribute to common stock. And then the rest, and I start doing this, paid in capital in excess of, and here you have to say stated value, not par value, and then indicate that it is on common stock. Okay, so you could write that all out, but this is the notation I'll start to use. It's important that you know it's paid in capital, and it has to be either stated if it's stated value stock, or it could be par value if it's par value, and that would be the 75,000. So it's really a fairly mechanical process. You simply have to watch the terminology. If it's par value, you label it as par value. If it's stated, you label it as stated value. And the key to remember is the cash that you receive is the number of shares you issue times the market value of the stock, because that's what you get on the open market. And then the rest of the journal entry, if there is par or stated value involved, is just assigning a certain amount to the common stock, and that would be, you know, the $2 par or stated, in this case par, times the number of shares issued. And then the rest is in this paid-in capital in excess of par account. And so these all will be regular accounts, just like we have rent expense and supplies expense. These are our stockholders' equity accounts, and they're just a little bit more, they're a little longer, a little more impressive, but they operate just the same as all the accounts that we have used so far. And these are all going to be normal credit balance accounts. So what I'll do next is we'll issue some stock, but we're going to issue it for what we call non-cash assets or for services.